everyone, and thank you so much for coming back and joining me this evening. So I am actually still on my holiday in Poland. For anybody who didn't know, I am in Krakow at the moment, and I've just noticed on my phone earlier there that it is -3 at the moment. Going to be going out soon, but before I do, I really wanted to come on, and I'm so excited to give you my thoughts and opinions and how I enjoyed the third episode called The Sin of the TV series, The Mandalorian. Now, as a lot of you will know that have been watching my channel for a good while, I was so excited and hyped and really looking forward to this series. And I did react to all the trailers and I loved them all. I have already done my review of the first 2 episodes and I really liked them. Now, one thing I want to say straight away before we get into this is I have loved the music so far, the music compositions in this by Ludwig Göransson, and I am a fan of his. I think he's absolutely fantastic. I've mentioned already, he did music for Bloodborne and, Black Panther, all that sort of stuff. So the guy knows what he's doing, but I kind of felt in the first couple of episodes that there was just maybe 1 or 2 bits that I just kind of felt in certain scenes didn't really kind of fit or didn't really sort of blend the best. But this is the episode so far that I thought is music blended to perfection. I really absolutely loved the music score in this episode. Now, although this episode and this series, in general, it is quite predictable. I'm sure a lot of us know that, but not in a bad way. I absolutely think this episode was, wow, it was by far the best of the 3. And I think sort of, it's like anything with a plot. Some people were a plot, what am I talking about? A pilot. I heard a lot of people saying that they thought the pilot was too slow. I disagree. I think with a pilot for anything, some people might find it a wee bit hard to get into, but I personally loved the first episode and the second episode. But I think this one really sort of blended the other 2 in well so that they all gelled well together, if that makes sense. But I think it's a fantastic series. I am, as a Star Wars fan, I am really, really enjoying and loving this series. And, obviously it was obvious that Mando was, going to hand over his bounty, his cute little bounty, not, sort of, saying anything that we don't all know. We all think he's cute, because we all knew that, obviously he was going to hand him over. He's going to have to. But obviously it was obvious. I knew that he was going to hand him over, get his Beskar steel, and then feel sad, feel guilty. And you could see that, obviously, although we can't see his face, Mando's face, but you could just tell that that's what he was feeling and that's what he was thinking. And he kept asking and asking throughout this episode. I think he asked like 2 or 3 times at least, what are your plans with him? What are you going to do with him and everything? So, it was obvious that he felt, sad and guilty and that he was going to go to the rescue and, get him. So obviously I'm just going to call him Baby Yoda species for my review. So I do have my notes with me, so don't forget anything. And then Mando went to Grief, who is played by Carl Weathers, who I absolutely love, aka Apollo Creed. Massive Rocky fan over here. And of course, he's pretty much he's a businessman, right? And he's asking him, Mando's saying to him, right, I want another job now, sort of thing. And that's what I really loved about this episode, was that I did get to see Carl Weathers an awful lot. And I love Carl Weathers, honestly. And I thought that him and Mando, those 2 characters went really well together in this episode. And that's what I really like about this series, is that so far, I haven't had any issues with the characters, and I think the characters are, really starting to, sort of come together really well. I don't have, sort of any issues with, anything really with this series. And the other thing that I wanted to say was it's really cool because I don't know if anybody knows this, but Carl Weathers is actually going to be directing one of the episodes for season 2 of The Mandalorian, because season 2 is already in the works. And it was actually Jon Favreau. I love him. He's so cool. He actually promised Carl Weathers this because he said to him, I'll let you direct an episode because I know that you're wanting, directing and everything as well. So he allowed him to do an episode for season 2. So that'll be really interesting to see Carl Weathers' take on that. And as well, he knows an awful lot about Star Wars, and already, you know, going into this, The Mandalorian, and obviously acting in it as well, he really understood the story, and he really understood the characters. And I think that's great for any show, for someone to know an awful lot of knowledge before they actually go into something. And he speaks really highly of Jon Favreau. He actually said that as someone like Jon Favreau, who, you know, he produces but also works, you know, as an actor as well, that he sort of feels like it's great to work with someone like that. And as well, he said that he's the type of person, I know this anyway, we all do, that he is the type of person who, unlike some people, actually does listen and actually can take advice. And that's the best way to improve anything in life. You know, if you're not willing to take criticism, then just stop doing what you're doing, because it ain't going to work for you. And he said that you can literally go up to him and say, you know, oh, I have a little concern about this, or I have this to say, or, you know, what do you think? And he's more than willing to listen. And I don't know, I just think that is absolutely fantastic. And honestly, what I loved the most was the fact in this episode was seeing Mando, who, you know, being a bounty hunter himself, actually ended up becoming the bounty literally at the end of this episode 3, this episode, The Sin. And it was just such a fantastic ending for this episode, that, you know, his own community came to his rescue, you know, came to sort of helped basically. And I thought that was brilliant. Really, really cool ending, I thought, anyway. And of course, it was so sweet at the end. You know, he handed over, you know, like the little metal ball or whatever from his ship over to the, you know, baby Yoda species, because obviously, of course, in the last episode, episode 2, he was playing around with it, and he was like pretty much saying to him like, don't play with it or whatever. And obviously, because, you know, he had a change of heart and everything, he was like, oh, you know, here, you know, you can have it, sort of thing. And then we little baby Yoda's playing with it and everything. It's just, and other wee cute little moments and stuff too in this series, you know, like little, you know, the little baby Yoda species, you know, in the wind with his little ears and everything flapping. I'm sorry, absolutely adorable, absolutely adorable. What I need in my life, this is what I'm just going to tell you guys, this is what I need in my life. I need one, like an actual like teddy or something like that, or I don't know if that's being brought out, but someone left a comment saying that in one of my YouTube comments in my last review, and I got too excited. I'm just hoping that it's going to be true. Just saying. They told me they would let me know when they hear, but just saying, right? So, yeah, I absolutely loved this episode. Now, there was something that I was going to mention, and you're probably going to laugh, guys, but I love Han Solo. He's my favourite character in Star Wars, just in case there's anybody new to my channel and you don't know, but if you've been with me for a while, you'll probably be bored of hearing it. Han Solo is my favourite. Hector freaking well, yes, it's Indiana Jones. What, you know, obviously it's going to be my favourite character. But in this episode, when Mando was, you know, going to the rescue, you know, that whole sort of like scene, and he was going down like an alleyway or whatever, and there was this pipe sitting in the background behind him. This is so sad, guys, honestly, I'm just so random. And it just reminded me, obviously it's not the exact same one, but it looked very, very similar to the pipe that was used in A New Hope. Now, A New Hope is actually my all-time favourite Star Wars movie. Right, it's a hard decision, but it is A New Hope. And it just looked like, it just reminded me of, you know, the scene when, you know, Princess Leia's like, you know, help or whatever, and, you know, they use that pipe so that they don't get, you know, crushed. Anyways, I don't know. I just thought I would randomly bring that up. But yeah, honestly, like all the scenes and everything, you know, when he went to the rescue and everything, the stormtroopers and, you know, Mando being cornered and everything. And all, I thought there was great action in this at the end, especially. I loved all the action at the end. I honestly thought it was a really strong finish for episode 3. And it was definitely by far the best episode. And I think as well, my favourite music part of it would have been in those scenes, you know, with the scene where with all the stormtroopers and everything, and he was cornered and everything, all that sort of along that sort of part. I think that was when the music was just the best. But as I say, the music was fantastic the whole way throughout this episode. So, you know, ticks all round from me. I actually don't have anything negative to say, because as well, What I will say is the other two episodes, and it wasn't even, you know, negative, I was only saying that for my enjoyment, I would have loved to have seen, you know, the episode last a bit longer. You know, only in my opinion. Of course, I know it's so expensive to make, so I'm not obviously expecting that. But I'm just saying, with this one, it actually kind of did seem, maybe it's just me, like it was maybe slightly longer. I don't know, it kind of seemed that way. But yeah, this one had a lot going on, and yeah, I really liked it, and I'm really excited now for episode 4. And I am going to go out now, and I really hope that it's going to snow before I go home on Wednesday morning, because it's -3 and it's, you know, it's magical down where we're going to be going down in Town Square, and it's, you know, got the Christmas tree lights and everything were put on yesterday, and the Christmas market and everything, the Christmas lights and everything lit. And I want to say something, guys, right, that's so funny, this is so random, but last night I was buying, you know, churros with, you know, I think it was white chocolate I got, yeah, white chocolate. And there was these two tip jars, right? The only reason why I'm actually bringing this up, guys, is I know that some of you will find this really freaking funny, but I found it hilarious. There was these two tip jars beside the churros saying, who tips more? And one of the jars had a picture of a man, and the other jar had a picture of a woman, and there was a girl from London behind me at the Christmas market. And I was saying, oh my gosh, that is just weird. That is just weird. And I was just laughing. Like, that is beyond just stupid. Why does it matter? And once they find out if it's men that tip more or women that tip more, what does that do for their life? You know, what does that prove? I'm kind of like lost. And the girl from London heard me talking, and she just went, yeah, I was kind of thinking the same there. I was thinking the same thing you were thinking. That's so odd. That's bizarre. And I said, yeah, it's the funniest thing I've seen all week. But anyways, I'm sorry, guys. I think I've overstayed my stay here. I really do. On this YouTube video, but apologies. I hope that you liked my thoughts, my opinions, my, you know, whatever on episode 3, The Sin of the Mandalorian. I am loving this show. Head to the freaking well, yes. And I'm so gosh darn happy, because as a Star Wars fan, as I say, was really looking forward to it and loving life. I will see you all in my next video, and yes, I will be coming on and doing a review of episode 4 as and when I watched it, because I ain't watched it yet. But until then, guys, don't forget that the Force will be with you always. Bye.